Think about walking into a hospital today compared to, say, even 10 years ago. Technology is just everywhere, right? Constantly collecting data.
Uh-huh, absolutely. Mountains of it.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. We're diving into a really fascinating area today where healthcare is putting its IT budget.
Specifically, yeah, IT spending on clinical analytics, making sense of all that clinical data.
Right. And our guide for this is the Global IT Spending on Clinical Analytics Market Report 2025. Our mission basically is to pull out the key stuff.
You know, the market size, how fast it's growing.
That's pushing it, what's holding it back, the big trends, and how it looks different around the world.
We want to give you a clear picture, sort of the financial pulse behind healthcare data's future.
In clinical analytics, just so we're all on the same page, it's about using all that health data.
Yeah.
Patient records, lab results, everything.
Yeah, using it to make things run smoother in hospitals and clinics. And crucially, helping doctors make better decisions, better care decisions for you.
Turning numbers into actual improvements.
Exactly. That's the goal.
So if you ever wondered where the big tech money is flowing in healthcare and, what that might actually mean down the line, well, you're in the right place.
We've sifted through the report, tried to find the surprising bits, the main direction, without drowning you in data.
Ready to jump in?
Let's do it. Let's start with the big picture. Current market size, future predictions.
Okay, so for 2025, this report projects global spending on clinical analytics IT will hit. You get this. USD 21,480 million.
That's a pretty hefty sum. Real investment happening there.
It is, and here's where it gets really interesting. By 2033, it's forecast to more than double.
Yeah, doubling to a predicted USD 46,718.30 million.
Man.
Staggering, really.
Well, a huge factor, the report says, is AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning.
Okay.
These technologies are becoming essential for crunching those massive data sets, finding patterns humans just couldn't spot. Makes sense. AI sifting through data, finding trends, making predictions. The report mentions a CAGR.
Right, the compound annual growth rate?
Yeah, of 10.2% over that time. So for you listening, that basically means growing over 10% average every single year. That really shows the speed, doesn't it?
It really does. Highlights that acceleration.
Okay, so that's the global view. Huge growth. AI is a big part of it. How does the spending break down, regionally?
The report gives us a pretty detailed look. So North America, it's currently leading the pack.
Okay.
Market size in 2025 is USD 7,947.60 million. That's over 37% of the whole global market, and it's projected to grow at 9.0% annually.
Still strong growth.
Yeah.
And within North America.
The U.S. is the giant, obviously. USD 6,270.66 million, growing at 8.8%. But Canada's at USD 953.71 million, but growing a bit faster, 9.8%. And Mexico, USD 723.23 million, also strong growth at 9.5%.
Interesting. So the U.S. dominates, but Canada and Mexico are actually growing slightly quicker in percentage terms.
Exactly. Shows potential there.
So North America is the current leader. What about Europe? How does it stack up?
Europe's number 2. Market size around USD 6,229.20 million in 2025. That's over 29% of the global total.
And the growth?
Also pretty solid, projected at 9.0% annually, same as North America overall.
And within Europe, any standouts?
Well, the UK is significant, over $1 billion, USD 1,046.51 million, growing at 9.8%. Germany is actually the largest market in Europe.
Right.
USD 1,233.38 million, growing at 9.2%. France, Italy, Spain, they're all substantial too, maybe slightly slower growth projected, but still healthy.
So it seems like consistent, solid adoption across the major European economies.
Yeah.
Steady progress.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about the region that always comes up when you talk growth potential. Asia Pacific, APAC.
Absolutely. And the numbers back it up. APAC's 2025 market size is about USD 5,155.20 million.
Which is around 24% of the global market.
Right. But the growth rate, that's the kicker. Projected annual growth of 13.1%, much faster than North America or Europe.
Wow, 13.1%. That's significant.
Yeah.
Who's leading the charge in APAC?
China's a huge player. Market over USD 2.1 billion, growing at 12.6%.
Yeah.
Japan, South Korea, also strong, growing fast.
Okay.
But the real standout percentage-wise is India.
India.
Yeah, a projected 15.0% annual growth, 15%. Market size around USD 515 million now, but that growth is remarkable.
15%.
Yeah.
It really does jump out. Suggests a massive acceleration in using healthcare data there.
Definitely. And you've also got Australia, Singapore, Taiwan showing strong double-digit growth. Southeast Asia as a whole, 13.9% growth.
So APAC really looks like the engine room for future growth in this market.
Yeah.
What about the other regions? South America, Middle East, Africa?
They're smaller markets currently, but still showing good growth. South America, about USD 816 million in 2025, growing at 10.6%. Brazil leads there.
Go.
The Middle East, slightly larger, USD 859 million, growing at 10.7%. Saudi Arabia is the biggest spender there.
Right.
And Africa, about USD 472 million market size, but still growing at a respectable 9.9% annually. South Africa is the key market.
So even though they're starting from a smaller base, these regions are clearly investing too. They see the value.
Absolutely. It's a global trend, just at different stages.
Okay, so summing up the regions, North America and Europe lead in current spending, but watch out for Asia Pacific, especially countries like India and China, for the fastest expansion.
Precisely.
Now, we've talked numbers, but let's get into the why. What are the key things actually driving this global spending boom on clinical analytics?
Okay, the report points to a few main drivers. Number one, as we mentioned, is AI and machine learning getting more sophisticated, more integrated.
Right, it's not just theory anymore.
No, it's being used for predictive analytics, predicting patient outcomes, identifying risks earlier, and for precision medicine, tailoring treatments based on individual data.
And we're seeing proof of that, right?
Yeah.
Like the FDA approving hundreds of AI medical devices. I think the report mentioned over 800 by May 2024.
That's right, 882 actually, and radiology is way out in front with 671 of those. It shows AI is becoming a practical tool, especially in imaging.
Definitely practical. Okay, so AML is driver number one. What's next?
Driver number two is just the sheer amount of data being generated, thanks to electronic health records, EHRs.
Ah, the digitization of records.
Exactly. These systems are everywhere now, creating vast amounts of patient histories, test results, notes. All the raw material analytics needs to work.
It's like you can't analyze what you haven't collected digitally first.
Precisely. EHRs are the foundation. Without that digital fuel, advanced analytics on this scale just wouldn't happen.
Got it. Fuel for the analytics engine. And the third key driver.
The third one is this growing focus on outcome-driven healthcare or value-based care.
Paying for results, not just procedures.
Right. The emphasis is shifting. Payers, governments, they want to see that the care provided actually makes patients healthier. And to do that, you need to measure outcomes.
Which requires?
Analytics. You need analytics to track patient progress, measure the effectiveness of treatments, identify best practices, and ultimately prove value.
Okay, so AI, widespread EHRs creating data, and the push for better measurable patient outcomes. Those are the big accelerators.
Those are the key drivers, yes.
Now, it can't all be smooth sailing. Are there any roadblocks, things slowing this down, restraints?
Yes, the report highlights one major restraint, the cost. And not just the software cost.
Where else?
The significant upfront investment needed for the IT infrastructure, the complexity of integrating these new analytic systems with older hospital systems, that can be tricky.
Integration is always a headache, isn't it?
It can be. And then there's training. You need to train doctors, nurses, administrators to actually use these tools effectively, get insights from the data.
So it's a big lift organizationally, especially for, say, smaller clinics or rural hospitals.
Exactly. That initial investment and the ongoing resources needed can be a real barrier for smaller providers. It takes commitment.
That's a crucial point. It's not just buying tech, it's implementing it properly.
Huh.
Okay, so despite that challenge, the market's growing fast. What are the key trends shaping how this technology is being used? Where's the innovation happening?
Well, one really prominent trend is the move to the cloud. Cloud-based analytics solutions.
Makes sense with all that data.
Right. As the data volumes just explode, the cloud offers scalability. You can expand capacity as needed, plus remote access, easier collaboration.
And potentially lower upfront costs compared to building huge data centers yourself.
That's often a big part of the appeal, yes. Reduced need for massive in-house IT infrastructure. So cloud adoption is definitely a major trend.
Cloud is big. What's another key trend?
Another one is the demand for real-time or near real-time decision support.
Using the analytics right now, in the moment.
Exactly. Think AI-powered predictive analytics working on data as it comes in. Doctors want insights now to help with immediate patient care decisions.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, maybe identifying a patient who's suddenly at high risk for sepsis based on their latest vital signs and lab results flowing into the system, or optimizing patient flow through the emergency department in real time.
Getting instant alerts or recommendations.
That's the idea, enhancing clinical judgment on the fly.
And we mentioned some real-world examples earlier, didn't we? Siemens Healthineers is working with ISC on AI for brain scans.
Exactly. That partnership, started January 2024, aims to automate brain scan analysis, faster diagnosis, better treatment planning for neurological issues.
And the Indian model, Garbini GA2.
Right, from IIT Madras and THSTI, February 2024. Using AI for more accurate fetal age estimation, specifically tuned for the Indian population. That's important, that local tailoring.
Tailoring the AI. And Wipro also partnering with ISC.
Yeah, May 2024. They're building an AI-based personal care engine. Think personalized support for managing chronic diseases, promoting healthy aging.
These examples really show how analytics isn't just abstract numbers. It's becoming concrete tools.
Absolutely. Translating data into things that can directly help patients and clinicians.
Okay. Now, the report also slices the market in different ways. Segmentation. Can you give us the highlights there? Let's start with platform outlook.
Sure. For Platform Outlook, the report suggests integrated platform systems that pull data from many sources together will likely dominate.
Because they give a whole picture.
Right, a unified view of the patient. But interestingly, standalone platforms, the ones focusing on very specific analytic tasks, are actually the fastest growing segment.
So there's demand for both the big picture and the specialized tool. What about the end user outlook? Who's buying this stuff?
Providers, hospitals, clinics, doctors' offices, they hold the biggest share right now, and they're also the fastest growing group.
Makes sense. They're on the front lines using the data.
Exactly. Driven by EHR adoption, wanting AI tools.
Yeah.
But payers, insurance companies, government programs, they're expanding their use rapidly, too.
What are payers using it for?
Things like assessing patient risk, predicting costs, and detecting fraud or waste in the system. They have a big financial incentive to analyze data.
Okay, so both sides of the healthcare coin, providers and payers, are investing heavily. How about deployment? Cloud versus on-premise?
We touched on this, but yeah, cloud-based has the largest share and is the fastest growing. Scalability, cost-effectiveness are key.
And on-premise, keeping the servers in-house.
Still preferred by some big institutions, mainly for data control and security reasons, but it's growing slower, faces those scalability challenges we mentioned.
Got it. Cloud is winning out overall. Lastly, solution type, doing it yourself versus hiring help.
Right. Outsourced solutions, hiring specialist companies to handle the analytics, that segment has the largest share and is also growing fastest.
Why outsource?
Cost savings, maybe lacking in-house expertise, wanting access to the latest tools quickly. But in-house solutions, building your own analytics team and systems are still common for very large organizations.
The ones with deep pockets and a desire for total control and customization.
Pretty much, yes.
So, general trends. Integrated platforms are big, but standalone is growing fast. Providers lead use, but payers are catching up. Cloud deployment is dominant, and outsourcing is very popular.
That's a good summary of the segmentation highlights.
Okay, let's circle back quickly to the regions. We know North America leads now, APAC's growing fastest. Why exactly? What's the story behind those dynamics?
Well, North America's lead comes from having mature healthcare IT infrastructure already in place. High EHR adoption for years gave them a head start.
A strong foundation.
Exactly. Plus, early investment in AI, government pushes for health IT use, it all built momentum.
And the rapid-fire growth in Asia-Pacific. What's fueling that surge?
It's a combination of factors. Rapid digitalization of healthcare services across the board, huge investments in AI and big data initiatives, often government-backed.
Like in China and India.
Particularly there, yeah. Governments aiming for smart healthcare systems. Plus, things like the rise of telemedicine and just the sheer need for more efficient healthcare in densely populated areas.
Cost pressures too, maybe. Analytics helping efficiency.
That's definitely part of it, too. Using data to deliver care more effectively and affordably is a big driver globally, but maybe especially felt in rapidly developing economies.
So different starting points, different pressures, but everyone's moving towards data-driven healthcare. Okay, let's try and tie this all together. What are the main takeaways from our deep dive today?
Okay, key takeaway 1. The global IT spend on clinical analytics is already huge, and it's set to grow really strongly, doubling by 2033.
Driven largely by AI, machine learning, and all the data from EHRs.
Correct. Takeaway 2. We're seeing a definite shift towards cloud-based solutions. Flexibility, scalability, cost are winning arguments.
Got it. Cloud is key.
Takeaway 3. Regionally, North America is the biggest market today, but Asia Pacific is the one growing fastest, fueled by digitalization and investment, especially in China and India.
Leads now versus fastest growth potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
Just reinforcing that the ultimate goal is better patient outcomes and more efficient healthcare delivery. That's the promise driving all this investment.
Right. So thinking about all this, what does it mean for you, the listener? Here's where it gets, I think, really interesting to consider.
Yeah, how might these trends actually touch your own healthcare experiences?
Exactly. As AI gets better, as more data gets analyzed, what could change? Could we see like hyper-personalized prevention plans based on your specific risk profile?
Or faster, more accurate diagnoses, maybe? AI helping doctors spot things earlier?
More effective treatments tailored specifically to you. What new possibilities open up as data and AI get woven deeper into how healthcare works?
It's definitely something to think about. It raises that fundamental question, doesn't it? As we all contribute our data to these systems, how will clinical analytics ultimately reshape our relationship with healthcare? How will it change the care we receive?
It's a massive transformation underway.
Yeah.
Lots of potential, lots to watch.
For sure. A fascinating space.
Absolutely. And if you want to explore this further, the source we used was the Global IT Spending on Clinical Analytics Market Report 2025. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.